Hi, I'm Reuben, and this is Mental Health Stories Live.
In one way, I've had an amazingly successful year, or it looks like success. But I make most of my income, like the majority of my income, and I think a lot of musos do, from touring.
Yes.
So all of these things, they don't necessarily pay me any money. So I was getting award nominations and, having songs on the radio while I was on JobKeeper. And I'm still on JobKeeper because I've had no work this year. So it's been kind of strange. Looking at that and all the missed opportunities, you work your whole career to have a song that's doing well so you can go and play every festival
Exactly.
and, be on all the lineups. And then I just didn't get to do any of that. Like, I've never played the song out in a venue before. Like, I've just never done that, which is so weird.
Still haven't got to play it yet.
No, I haven't played it. So it's not only the trajectory of relying on those festivals and shows and things, but, the income that would have come from all of that. Yet instead, I'm on JobKeeper with a mortgage and a kid. And
not only that, the performance income from a big song when other DJs are playing it and other people cover it and stuff like that, there's no performances.
Yeah.
2020 was going to be the year. I think everyone had 2020 vision and had it felt like a good year. And that all dried up in the course of a week. We just saw all our future tours disappear.
It was so quick, right?
It's happened, literally we're about to shoot the Drop Festival and it was 9 p.m. the night before that they had to cancel that. And again, all the roadies, all the sound guys, everyone were there. Rashida, what you said about a sense of like losing identity, I fully went through that full rigmarole and really had to face who I was when I wasn't creative or wasn't creating. I wasn't out in crowds and getting like kind of a feedback from just being with other people and seeing the same few people every day just really, for some reason, took its toll on me and exacerbated problems that had probably been there for as long as, since I was a teenager. So I had to really face myself and figure out who that person was.
Yeah, we've never had to go through such a mass transition in such a short period of time, like at least in our, lifetimes we haven't. And then to have to sort of reinvent yourself. And I think as creatives, at least, talking about this feedback that you get from doing shows, doing festivals, doing gigs, and then not having that, I mean, that's a big part of probably what inspires you to keep creating and keep being really innovative. And if you're not getting that all of the time, then you have to sort of pivot and use, something else while you're also stressed.
It's remarkable the amount people have managed to adapt and change and find even work that they were doing in a way before.
Every time we face a new obstacle or something new happens in our life, it's like scanning back through all of our memories, all of our experiences, and trying to land on something that feels similar to what we're going through right then and there. And with like this year in particular, because we've never actually been through anything like this, our brain's trying to just find an example that somewhat reminds us and says, how did we cope last time? How did we get through this last time? And it can't really land on anything because we haven't been through this. So sometimes we might be experiencing all of these emotions that we don't usually feel because it's like, well, I just need to try and cope and I need to, try and work through this. And I've never been through this before, so I'm just going to land on something and it might get it wrong, or it might be something that you've never experienced before and kind of can feel a little bit scary.
I ended up getting diagnosed with a disorder called borderline personality disorder. Once I really got to the point where I'm like, I have a binary decision here, and it's like, get a better life, get and be happy, or like the alternative is keep doing what I was doing, or worse. In the ambulance, I said to them, I'm sorry, like I kept apologizing. They said, why are you apologizing? Like, this is our job, this is what we do, this is what we're here for, this is what we're training for. I was like, but there's like COVID's on, people are falling out of trees and and getting run over by tractors, like you should be looking after them. And they're like, how are you any different to them? Like you have not yes, there are things you can do in your change the life, but it's something that was happening to me as much as it was something that I was doing to myself, and it was a health issue, the same as any of those. And so that was a realization where I was like, well, it is a health issue, and if we are diagnosed with, you know, any other illness, we have these steps that we can take. And the doctor goes, here are all the things you can do. But for some reason, mental health, you go, oh no, like that's not for me. You know, for me, it was like getting help didn't align with who I was as a business person and as a creative person. So I just kind of never thought that was an avenue that I should take, which is hindsight seems.
I love that analogy, by the way. That, like, just comparing it to, like, you know, getting stitches or something.
Yeah.
Like,
ever since I've talked about it, I haven't had a negative experience. People might not know what to say or have the best advice, but they know that they are here to listen, and people do really, it's starting to change, I feel like, especially when I've tried to normalize it more in the business. I feel like I've opened dialogue with the team, and it's become more of a thing. Like if you have a cold and you can't come to work, that's fine.
yeah.
If you're having a panic attack or you're just feeling off that day, then that's just as unhealthy to not treat as a cold or anything else.
We have this tendency to sort of like gratitude shame ourselves, or we hear from others, you know, that you should just be grateful for whatever it is that you have, or we say to ourselves, you know, someone else must have it worse off. And then that sort of creates a competition in our experiences and in our suffering, and it's not a competition. And when we start doing that to ourselves, we dismiss what it is that we're actually feeling, and we don't allow ourselves to sometimes get the help that we need, you know, reach out to the support that we need, or if we're, you know, unintentionally saying that to someone else, we maybe make them feel that their pain is a wrongdoing, or they don't deserve to go out there and get the support that they need because they should just be able to get on with it and, you know, move through. So I think it's really important, like when you share that we say to, you know, the audience as well, if what you're going through is causing you distress, then that's enough to go and seek some support and go to talk to someone and go and reach out, because, you know, if it's affecting you, then that's all you have to go by.
My kind of creative energy was being chipped away at, and my self-confidence was kind of being just destroyed. Because it happened so incrementally, it took a lot of talk from my manager and my partner and my housemates and everyone to be like, something ain't right, you know? And so I ended up, seeking help, and it's been like a long process back from that to kind of rebuild, and a big part of it has been like focusing on why I feel it's important to create. And it's kind of going back to what you were saying about social beings and how we require the energy of each other. And a big part of that is from storytelling, narrative, or non-linear, image-based, sound-based, whatever it is. Being able to have an impact on the people around you is at the core of being human. And if you're given the ability to do that in a way that connects with more people, then it's important that you do that, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. To pivot my energy away from that towards, say, like going to the gym, eating better, it's like, hold up, the effort that I put in directly correlates to the positive result that I will get. And being able to have control over something like that and see results that didn't rely on whether, you know, I was to be the flavour of the month, or if I'd pissed someone off at a party that was going to be doing the playlisting on some radio show, or whatever hypothetical situation it may be. You know, it was just like having that thing that I could control empowered me in a creative sense again.
So something I learned in my therapy is like finding wise mind. You have like the two sides of your brain, your emotional mind and your logical mind. I think correct me if I'm wrong, wise mind is kind of like in the middle of these two circles, and you're not going to be happy if you're fully to one end of the scale and everything's logical. Then how can you like, emotions are a good thing as well. Like happiness is an emotion.
Exactly.
And love is an emotion. So like, why
This is amazing,
we don't want
by the
to.
way. I've never heard of this.
Well, this is what I like. The therapy that I do, I wish every teenager in the country in the world could learn about, because it just, for me, it's just broken things down into these bite-sized pieces about our emotions and like, and how to regulate them. And yeah, it's called dialectical behavior therapy, and I encourage anyone to look it up. It's not just for people with borderline or like the certain train track. If you Google it, it might just say this is a therapy that's used for treating this. I would recommend at least researching some of the skills and reading the book
incredible, yeah.
because it's changed my life.